Broadcasting live from the Loading Ready Run orbiting underground moon base, it's the LRRcast. It's the wamp alarm. Everyone batten down the hatches. Oh no, it's a double wamp.
Isn't really a song. It's just more.
That's what I said. It sounded like a klaxon.
Yeah.
Is really what
I
that
tried
was.
throwing down like a beat and seeing if you guys would run on it.
No.
I don't want it to be expected.
No. I feel like it's your thing.
Yeah.
Like if you want to do something, like last time you did something and it seemed appropriate to throw down a beat, but I don't want to take that away from you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fine.
Hey everyone, it's Graham.
It is the Wampcast.
It's the Wampcast with myself, whose name is Graham.
And I am Paul.
And I'm Kathleen.
And James is once again not with us this week because he is going to GP Portland, where he is not going to play in the actual GP because it is modern, but he's going to play in a whole bunch of side events.
So he's going to the GP just for the side events.
He's going to the GP for the GP experience. Yes.
I mean, it's fun to go if you like magic.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a perfectly reasonable thing to do, but
Also, he hates you. That's the other reason why he's going.
right.
He didn't want to be here.
I would just like to point out that I was eating jelly beans at the start of this, so if you heard a nom 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 nom, and they were sent to us by a very, very dedicated Loading Ready Run fan named Lisa, who sent us a lot of sugar.
A lot of sugar.
You just got it's just like a box filled with candy.
And something called butter crack.
Which we haven't eaten.
You gotta get a little closer on the mic.
We haven't tasted the butter crack yet, but so far the snacks have been holding us in pretty good stead for a variety of sugar-based needs. Also, delicious jelly bellies. So thanks, Lisa. Also, there's a blanket in there for when I get cold because she knows us.
I thought that was very sweet. So yeah, we're only gonna the only video that we've done recently that hasn't been covered in a loading time is the travel bug. So we're going to talk briefly about the travel bug and then go on to some AskLRR questions that were posted to our Facebook. I was basically not involved in this video at all. So Kathleen, take it away.
Well, this is what I like to think is actually coming together, sort of the Loading Ready Run. Graham is busy/sick Alpha Strike team, which apparently is Kathleen, Paul, Cam, and Andy. Because this always happens. This was like the last video we filmed without Graham, was also Kathleen, Paul, Cam, and Andy.
Really?
Yeah. We had Bijan Boom because Cam was in that video, but it was the same 4 people.
Huh. Because, I mean, Andy's not usually around that much.
Well, Graham's not usually sick.
I guess so, yeah.
You can name the team Pam Candy.
The Pam Candy team. I wrote a video.
What video was that?
That was our Christmas video this year with the guy who could extrapolate out the the
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't there. You're right.
Yeah,
Once again, Andy and I playing a couple.
Oh yeah.
Where were you? Were you just sick or?
I don't know what was up with that. Maybe I was out of town.
Busy.
I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know, but yeah, Graham was not involved in that. Oh no, it was because of Strip Search. We filmed that in like early November. Remember?
Oh right. That was right. Okay, that makes sense.
November.
Or like mid-November.
December.
Oh yeah. No, late.
Mid-November is Desert Bus.
No,
right.
we filmed it.
Doesn't matter.
We filmed it before Strip Search.
Anyway.
Anyhow, so this video, I wanted to write a quick back and forth video with like 2 people with good rapid fire dialogue because we haven't done one of those in a long time, and I love those. I think they are like sort of the foundation of sketch comedy. I just the idea came to me sort of I was laying in bed and couldn't really sleep at like 4 a.m. I tend to be a restless sleeper. Like I fall asleep easily, and I will sleep for a good couple of hours, but then I will wake up and toss and turn, and I need to get back to sleep. So about 4 a.m. I'm awake and going, oh man, we should write a video where it's like really simple and easy and to do, and it's just like 2 people talking, and it's like, you know, the strength is the dialogue. There's no special defects or anything. And yeah, I did say special defects, which is my pet nickname for any special effects.
Yeah, we sometimes do special defects.
Yeah. So, and then I had nothing written of the video except for that one like super rude line about like Asian tourists. Because I was thinking, what if somebody wanted to go on vacation and they were trying to like pitch this to somebody super unreasonable, and they said, "Why don't we go to this country?" And they said, "No, because people from that country are always seeing our country, so why would we go to their country?" Right? And I was like, "Wow, that's so fucking stupid and offensive." And I was like, I should write a video about that. So I finally got back to sleep, and the next day, once I had a bit of free time, I wrote the video. When the process was simple, I listed all the countries I could think of rude things about, and stopped when I could no longer think of rude things to say about other people's countries, including my own, which I write off as just like, why would you ever pay to go there? Didn't put New Zealand in though, because I mean,
people were disappointed that you said Australia and not New Zealand.
Well, you could say Australia, no, New Zealand, where? Like, I mean, there's the joke there. And then couldn't think of really anything rude to say about Spain. So I was like, all right, fine, I gotta cap this thing off in Spain. And I remember there's something I personally want to do that walking pilgrimage. I think that would be an amazing vacation. I would love to do that. And I thought that sounds pretty unreasonable to most people. So I will.
Well, a 450-mile walk, I think, should sound pretty unreasonable to most people. But
you'd break it up over days.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Weeks.
But it is supposed to be a punishment.
Yeah, exactly.
Originally.
Well, yeah, in medieval times. Nowadays, there's like, walking paths and like B&Bs and like way better shoes. And
that sounds great.
Yeah, I really, really want to do that. That's like one of my dream vacations.
You're allowed to do it either walking or riding a bicycle or riding a donkey.
Ooh.
Well, sign me up for the donkey
Shoddy's
version.
donkey, yeah.
Absolutely not. You know what? Your legs, you'd have like inner thigh cramps and like
super bow-legged, yeah.
Super bow-legged, like ass ball pain. Like I think after like 2 days, if you're not accustomed to it.
Old English radio show I used to listen to called Round the Horn. One of they were doing a Three Musketeers thing with three of them riding horses and D'Artagnan riding a goat. Then they arrive at the inn, and the innkeeper says, good morrow, sire, and where are you bound? And the response is, after a night riding a goat practically everywhere.
That's good. Around the horn. Anyhow,
good.
And then we filmed it with Andy, and he was very funny.
Mm-hmm.
And
as is his wont.
I don't, in real life, Andy and I have no sort of sexual chemistry whatsoever. But I did try to portray that we
That's
might
not
have
necessarily
been a couple.
true.
No, it's pretty true.
I don't know. You're probably not a very good judge of it. I don't know. I don't see it, but maybe you do.
Anyhow, but I tried to like make us look more coupley by the fact that we like leaned our faces together and stuff like that in the video to show that we're not just two people having an argument. Like we honestly do like care for each other. And the video was punched up considerably by Paul and Cam and Andy and I after I sort of wrote it. Because that kind of dialogue really lives in, like, that kind of video lives and dies in the delivery, and sometimes the delivery can be bad. And now I would change a couple lines because I think they're bad. Like, I would take out that first stupid line I have. I don't like that. The fishing trawler line is dumb. Just the end part of it. I would dramatically shorten that. It doesn't need to be there. And there's just a couple other things that I would change. But the stinger's super solid because that was written by Paul and Andy and Cam and myself sort of throwing around ideas.
Yeah, so we changed the stinger from what you originally had, and we tweaked the ending to make it a little bit more sort of clear what was going on.
Yeah.
And make it a little bit more, make it more sort of explicit that she was trying to punish her mother-in-law. Her mother, yeah.
For inviting herself along on a vacation, which I mean is kind of a rude thing to do.
Someone was like, oh man, they should have invited her to the place where the butt centipedes go. So I guess the trick was she wanted to find a place that was going to be unpleasant, but she was still willing to go to, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Unpleasant for her mother, but that she would still enjoy.
Yeah. And then, of course, Iron Man.
Comeuppance in the end.
Yeah, I think it turned out really well.
Yeah, this was actually, unfortunately, just for various reasons, Andy had to leave and go to a party or something. And so
he had to go to his sister's birthday party.
Yeah, and so we had to we were kind of constrained with Andy's stuff. So we shot like all the wide stuff and then all of Andy's one shots and then like the stinger at the end.
Then he
had to like book it and get a cab. And then we went back and shot Kathleen's one shots.
Nice.
So,
worked out
but
okay.
it was actually ended up being Yeah, we had to
movie magic.
do it very quickly. But thankfully, both Andy and Kathleen were able to memorize their lines very well.
Nice.
Except for that one line,
Oh my
whatever
God.
that was.
Yeah, just like for some reason we had to do like the beginning, like the opening long take at the beginning. We had to do that like probably 15 times because I just couldn't get it. And I was reading off script,
Yeah,
right? I just could not get it.
Like
I
in
couldn't-
like
it was in the magazine.
in the magazine.
yeah.
Which, by the way, I am an Economist subscriber because Cam got me that subscription to The Economist for my birthday last year, and I freaking love that magazine. And if you don't subscribe to The Economist, you are missing out.
All right. Okay, let's jump into some AskLRR questions. These are all from our Facebook, which is LoadingReadyRun, or which is facebook.com/LoadingReadyRun.
Is there
if you're
any?
curious.
I guess people may ask about strip search stuff, so we might as well just
Just go
leave that
through
to
and-
questions.
Matthias asks, what is your favorite European country? Now, I've only been to one European country, and it's England, which is not strictly mainland Europe, but I would like to see the rest of it.
I feel like England would dispute whether they would be a European country.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like a lot of things that come from Sweden,
Mm.
like food and IKEA and software-wise.
Yeah, I would definitely like to check out sort of Germany and Sweden and sort of that area.
Mm-hmm.
You know where I've always wanted to go? I've always wanted to go to Denmark. I hear it's just a beautiful sort of like walking and bicycling country, and just a really like nice place to go. And I would really like to go there.
Mm-hmm. Jennifer asks, what is your policy for meeting fans? We are in favor of it.
Yeah.
We like meeting fans.
Come
yeah.
and say hi.
If you see us on the street or at a convention or whatever, please come say hi. If you, for some reason, are in Victoria, send us an email. And if our schedules coincide, then you are, you're welcome to come by, and we can give you. I mean, there isn't that much to see here, but we can give you a brief kind of this is where we do stuff
Mhm.
tour.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we're only here at certain times, so it's easiest just to like send us an email if you're going to be around.
Yeah. We might not always have time to stick around and chat, but do say hi if you see us.
Definitely, yeah.
George asks, what was the most disappointing ending to a game that you have played?
Well, I mean, I talked about Far Cry 3. That
Right.
I was super pissed off at the ending of Far Cry 3. That's just the one that like sticks into my mind most recently.
The ending and it was a bad game anyway, but Cursed Crusade, after doing that whole friggin' Let's Play,
Oh yeah.
that was such a disappointing ending, because it wasn't an ending. It was so stupid.
It's like, is it better if it's already a terrible game and it has a bad ending, or is it worse?
I would like it to have at least had like an expected ending, like okay,
You get to
right.
beat the boss guy.
you beat the boss and then everything's fine and you go home and you're a crusader and whatever. But this was just like, no, now we fight and what? Well, huh?
Yeah.
That wasn't even a boss.
What was that video game we were playing a very long time? Like, this is back when you still lived with your parents, and it was on the PS1, and it was like an RPG. It had a really fun combat system, but it had like the worst plot ever. Like, major characters would just drop in and out, and the game just kind of ended.
Grandia 3.
Grandia 3 is a terrible ending. It just kind of stops.
That was a PS2 game.
PS2.
But yeah, a wonderful combat system. Basically, the combat system kept me playing that game. It was just a joy to play. But yeah, like early in the game, we did this for Unskippable.
Yeah.
Early in the game, your mom is a main character.
Well, that's the one where it's like trying your mom versus your sister. It's like, whoa, that's your mom?
Yeah.
Dude, your mom's super hot.
Yeah, but she's there, and then it's like, all right, let's go here, and then she's like, all right, I'm gonna go over this way, and then she just
She's
and like
gone. She's
your
never mentioned again. Nobody
and
thinks about her.
your best friend from the beginning of the game, whoop, gone, just never appears again through the whole goddamn game.
Wow.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
A plot hole literally swallows them. And the end
So that was just
really
a disappointing plot all over. It wasn't
Mhm.
necessarily a disappointing ending. It was probably the ending that game deserved.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. What about you?
I'm trying to think.
Has any Shin Megami Tensei game ever ended less than satisfactorily for you?
Well, I mean, they all have like super open-ended multiple endings, right? Oh, I guess like if you get, and like there's bad endings that are supposed to be like unsatisfactory and crap, right? Star Ocean games usually have pretty terrible fucking endings.
I was disappointed with Fallout 3, and by that I mean not the actual ending of the game, which I know ticked some people off. I actually love that you die at the end if you do it right. Like I think that's spoilers for Fallout 3, by the way. I think that's great.
I think the statute
that
of
game,
spoiler limitations.
I love that the game starts with you being born and ends with you dying. I think it's beautiful. But then afterwards, there's the whole sort of like in the previous Fallout games, all the little minor quests that you did, you got to see like at the end, and this is what happened, and this is what happened, and this is what happened.
And it changes depending on what you did.
Yeah, and it's not like doing those affects the main story, but it's like, because you did this, now this has happened. Because you did this has happened. And it's just like you get to see little windows into all around the world and how you've managed to change it.
That's cool, yeah.
But all Fallout 3 did was just like it showed you a couple slides that, from maybe one or two of those. There was no narration. There was no. It didn't address all the quests that you could have done. It was just like, and here's a slide, and here's a slide, and that's it.
Oh wait.
It was like, I thought they were going to have, like, weren't they advertising a ton of endings?
Didn't they also retcon the thing in the DLC, too?
Yes, they retconned
I thought of the worst ending ever.
It's just a coma.
Tiny Tower. Once you get all the floors, nothing happens. And then they add more floors.
Oh.
So it's not really an ending. I mean, like, they probably, it's like, it has no ending, right? It's like the ending of a SimCity game.
Oh, you're missing my incredibly sophisticated joke. Anyhow,
Alexander asks, what was your favorite Commodore Hustle episode to write and film? Speaking of which, will there be a new one soon? There will be, but to your question, I don't know. To write and film, I don't even know.
Film.
I mean, the one where we go bear hunting was like kind of sucky to film because that suit that I was wearing was really, really warm. But that was a fun episode. Like that had like the cosplayers.
Yeah, the cosplayers was
costume
cool.
And the gang outfits.
The one where James falls into the water, that was fun to film.
Oh, that was fun because James fell in the water.
Yeah.
Actually, the most recent one was a lot of fun too with the meme stream.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. I was that was cool, and I was so happy with how well that sort of turned out.
Mm-hmm. Nick asks, do you have any plans or scripts that would require animation? I have a friend who is a 2D animator who would love to work on a project with you.
Actually, yeah. Send us an email.
Send us a portfolio.
Yeah, send us a portfolio, or send us an email with a link to your portfolio.
We often have ideas that are impractical for us to film,
no kidding.
and also impractical for us to animate because we can't animate stuff.
Yeah.
So that could be interesting.
Peter says, long-time listener, first-time asker. Hello, Peter. You've established.
I hope you are also watching.
Oh, by the way, our email address, you can send it to Kathleen at LoadingReadyRun.com.
Yeah. Long-time listener, first-time asker. You have established that the Commodore Hustle universe is similar to our own, just with you guys being, quote, terrible people. Mm-hmm. I was wondering, are there any other differences? For example, is Canada 3 degrees colder in the Commodore Hustle universe? Did Firefly get a second season which was subpar? Has Edward James almost won a magic PTQ?
Who knows?
I mean, these are all good questions that we've never thought about before.
I think, like, as far as, from my perspective, I think it's basically Loading Ready Run. Like, Loading Ready Run is the main thing that's different.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things, but Loading Ready, like, as well as being, like, we're different and terrible, but we're also as successful, if not more successful, than we are in real life.
I actually really assumed that we were way less successful.
Maybe? I don't know.
I like that people in the Commodore Hustle universe tolerate our Commodore Hustle characters.
Yeah, well, like I think the universe there must be other stuff different in the universe for our characters to just be able to exist at all.
Whenever I write a Commodore Hustle, I always imagine that it is a magical realism universe. Because that explains a lot of the crap that we get away with, to be honest with you. And I mean stuff like Beige downloading the internet into his like brain through the meme stream is like a perfect example of that. I don't know who wrote that script.
Me mostly.
Yeah, you.
That and like I think there's some that was one of the ones we kind of did a lot of adjustments on.
Yeah, we did a lot of room writing on that one, I think.
Yeah, but like that kind of like magical realism. And
there's definitely, and like all like the various contraptions that Commodore Hustle Paul can make,
and
that work for no particular reason.
Yeah. Rose asks, if you could live anywhere, where would you live besides where you are now?
I would live in, and I'm not saying this to suck up to you, I would live in Chichester in the United Kingdom because I love it.
That's such a nice town.
Loved visiting there like a couple years ago.
South of England's really nice.
The south of England is beautiful, and like there's places to walk, and it's just food. The food is really good in England. Like people say the food, like they have this reputation of having bad food, but food's very good there. Especially the groceries are much cheaper than they are here.
Post Mad Cow, England went quite crazy for making sure that all their food was like properly sourced and properly grown and local and organic, and not necessarily organic, but just good. And it's tasty and cheap. They were like, wait, we have an infrastructure, we can just do this. We have trains, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really stayed anywhere other than Victoria long enough to get like a good impression of it, but I can imagine somewhere, either in Europe or somewhere English speaking, I guess.
If I had to live
or England.
If we had to live in the States, we'd live in Seattle.
Yeah.
Seattle or Portland. Yeah. I really liked I actually quite like San Francisco too.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco is nice, although apparently it's extremely expensive.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
Like it's so expensive to live in
But
San Francisco right now.
San Francisco is like the biggest the largest large city that I would like to live in, I think.
Yeah.
I think anything bigger than that, and it's too big for me. But yeah.
Cole asks, have you guys ever considered going to other conventions in Canada, such as ones on the East Coast?
It's really just a matter of traveling there. It's very expensive for us to get to the East Coast, and so we kind of need to make sure we have sort of a guaranteed return on investment for our our costs for getting there. So it's great for when we go to PAX East because a lot of people recognize us because we're on PATV and stuff like that, and it's a really fun trip that we can break even on. But for an unknown Canadian convention, where we don't know how well we're going to be received, it's not something we can really just take a gamble on, right?
I feel like
if somebody paid, or if a convention really wanted us to come out and helped us pay for our travel to Toronto or something, we'd definitely do it.
Not even all of it. If they were able to help subsidize travel and
just
stuff like that, I feel like Fan Expo would probably be on the radar if we were going to do any East Coast convention, because it's pretty huge.
But I mean, you just have to
by East Coast.
The East Coast,
seriously, it's not the East Coast.
Return
it's
flights.
Like the middle.
It's not the coast at all.
No, but the return flights for us to get out.
Everyone in the Maritimes is like,
Yeah.
God damn you
that
guys.
side of the country, where you're looking at least $800 a person. So that is a considerable amount of stuff that you have to be able to sell at a convention like that to even break even.
What we should do is take the Canadian and turn it into a thing.
Oh, so long though. We don't have time for that, right?
Yeah, that's the other big thing actually, is that especially in the last couple of years, is that basically regardless of how successful conventions are in terms of selling merchandise, the actual time it takes away from our production schedule is a real tough.
Yeah, we need to work on that. We need to take back the weekend.
I was talking.
I'm just.
I was talking to Lexi
Loose
on
guy.
Twitter from Strip Search, and she was just like, "How's it going?" And we just DMing back and forth, and I was like, Graham's really sick this week, so it's been really tough, right?" And she was just like, "Oh well, I mean it's Friday tomorrow, so you guys have the weekend to recover." And I'm like, "No, we don't get a day off right now.
Weekend is shifted."
Yeah.
It's also the big problem with conventions actually is that the convention itself is 3 days. There'll usually be a day at least of travel.
Yeah.
Then there's also the week afterwards that you get sick, because apparently that's what happens at every convention.
Mm-hmm.
Charles asks, what should be the first investment for a new internet comedy show group?
Well, a camera,
and then a good mic
and microphone. Yeah, camera,
I
microphone.
recommend the Rode Video mic.
Lights.
Sound first.
Yeah,
microphone.
That's basically in that order. First camera, and the camera doesn't have to be amazing. But
yeah. Does Kodak still make the ZI-8?
They probably do some sort of equivalent.
They probably make a better version.
But any kind of
I mean, an iPhone camera is better than the Z8 at this point, I think.
You get
but the ZI-8 you can record a lot more onto, right?
You get like a Canon Rebel T3 for like
Yeah.
$700 or $800.
I mean,
Yeah.
but even like cheaper than that, if you're just like, I just want to play around with this, there's like really nice, like obviously I haven't looked into this for a while, but ZA8, like even like 3 years ago, was like $200 and would record like nice high quality video, cheap, really just perfect introductory.
Hey, Kathleen. It's a question from Anya.
Ah.
Will you ever come to Denmark? I promise to make you loads of Nomi cakes and cookies.
I would love to go. If I ever get to go to Europe, it's definitely on my to-do list. So there you go. Yay.
Well, there will be cakes and cookies waiting for you.
Matthew asks, what do you miss doing when you were less known that you can't do now because of your current duties?
Weekends, I guess. We
Weekends.
established
I
that.
guess weekends. I don't get to play nearly as many video games.
Video games.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there is like we never go to conventions that we aren't exhibiting at.
Yeah.
And when you're exhibiting at a convention, you can't actually
See it.
attend the convention,
Yeah.
really. You know, people will like come by the table and be like, oh man, this awesome thing just happened. And be like, really? That's super cool. And so you have this weird kind of like different, you sort of have a secondhand account of what happened at the convention.
Usually we'll be looking through the guidebook and be like, okay, this is a thing I want to see.
Yeah, it's like everybody gets one thing.
You coordinate
Yeah,
to be
so-
not at the booth and have somebody else watch it.
I won't be at the booth during this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've attended like every PAX in a row for many years, but I haven't been to a PAX I think since like 2009.
James asks, if a zombie apocalypse happened right now, what would be your course of action?
Suicide.
Really?
I do not want to deal with that. Like, I don't want to deal with zombies. I don't want to deal with shooting zombies. I don't want to deal with my friends being zombies. I don't want to deal with the wreckage of society afterwards.
No. Lock the door.
No.
No, wait. No. Like right now, right? If it happened right now.
My baby cat.
Okay, your cat would be fine. It's on the 3rd floor of an apartment building.
No, but I have to go and take
No.
care of him.
No. This is the thing. People, when you think zombie apocalypse, people are like, oh my God, you never see the zombie apocalypse start because that would be really easy to deal with. Zombies are stupid. They die without food, and it's real easy to...
I don't think zombies do die without food, do they?
They just rot. They decompose.
Yeah, exactly. They're decomposing. They're dead, right?
Right. I figured that zombies would just keep going, though.
Yeah.
No.
They just are... I mean, I
No,
guess
they
it
don't die
depends on
without-
what chronology you're looking
Well,
at.
eventually they just... Well, there was a whole article on this. It's like, if you can wait like a week, zombies not going to be a problem anymore.
There was also like a scientific simulation where they ran the numbers where if like all of the dead, if they did rise up, like all of humanity would be wiped out in like 3 days because we live so densely.
Anyway, what I was going to say is we lock the door, hunker in the moon base, and survive off buttercrack for a week. And all that candy that
I
Lisa
would be
sent
like,
us.
I need to go save my baby cat.
Your cat would be fine. It's on the 3rd floor of an apartment building. Zombies aren't going to be able to get up there.
He'd be hungry and lonely.
He's got plenty of food.
He would cry for food.
Yeah, he would, and he'd be sad, but whatever. Also, yeah, I mean, we only live like 5 blocks from here. We could probably just run there and then survive in our apartment, which would be just fine.
Actually, yeah, our apartment's pretty good. Just barricade the door and wait it out.
Yeah,
Although we
exactly.
have no food.
Well, we can take all this buttercrack with us.
Stop by Welburn's on the way.
Is what I'm saying is I'm not actually scared of a zombie apocalypse. It would suck and be awful, but I'm not concerned about my personal safety.
No, seriously, like if like zombie apocalypse was dragging on for like longer than a week, and like I'm seeing like just zombies like mowing down cops, and like the news is like people giving up. I'm just like laying in the bathtub, slitting my wrists, not dealing with it. I do not like nuclear war happens. I'm gonna watch the bombs go off. I do not want to deal with it. I do not want to be an old lady telling my kids stories, my horrible natural childbirth children, because I'm trying to repopulate the earth, stories about how you used to be able to have hot showers and electricity.
Yeah, but you're a terrible pessimist, so.
No.
I don't think suicide, but I think I may go get bitten by a zombie, because then at least you can go bite other people. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Just join the opposition.
But
if you can't beat them, join
yeah,
them.
I have not heard this whole like zombies starve after a while thing. That I think
Not that they starve, it's just like I shouldn't have worded it that way, but like they are decomposing, right? And as long as people stay away from them and they don't keep making new zombies are going to just fall apart.
But people aren't going to stay
depends
away.
on which. Again, sometimes in some mythologies the zombies just kind of stay around forever.
Yeah, they stare into skeletons.
28 days later, zombies are not zombies.
I know, and sometimes the walking around zombies just stay around forever. Just are constantly like that's D&D zombies are like that. D&D zombies are constantly like decaying, but never actually decay. And then they get destroyed completely, or all the flesh comes off and they become skeletons. Still scary. Anyway.
What's your favorite Loading Ready Run quote from an episode? Jeez. Also, just wanted to say you guys are my go-to for Canadian sketch comedy. Well, thank you.
Yay.
Thank you.
I have no idea.
I'm quite partial to somebody doing science in here.
I like that.
I'm wearing that shirt myself.
Jeremy asks, how many Doctor Who fans are in Loading Ready Run? I think broadly all of us. I know that Kathleen doesn't watch the new series, but I think you're still broadly a fan.
I'm broadly a fan. I just don't have any time to devote to it.
Who's your favorite Doctors?
I mean, should we say old series and then new series?
That seems relevant.
Old series, probably Tom Baker.
Tom Baker.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
got
going to
to
weigh in on this. I don't have...
I have to watch it again, but new series, I have a great fondness for Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah, me too. I like him a lot. I was really sad to see him go.
But
I love David Tennant. He's great, but I like Christopher Eccleston a lot.
Yeah, I think I like David Tennant better than Matt Smith, I got to say.
I think so, yeah.
So, I mean, like...
Though I like Matt Smith's ability to be a younger actor and act older than David Tennant. It's weird.
Because, of course, we are all, there's lots of fans of Doctor Who around. What that means is there's lots of complaining about how Doctor Who isn't good anymore. But anyway, or how, what they did wrong or whatever. But that's just how fans express their fandom.
Mark asks, are there any plans for future large-scale production contracts with Penny Arcade or other clients? Not at present.
If we did, we couldn't tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so. Nick asks, Feed Dump recently reached 100 episodes. How many more episodes of it and other shows do you think you will do, either by your choice or by the host's choice?
I mean, Feed Dump and Checkpoint and Unskippable are all kind of perpetual shows. I mean, they'll keep going until their respective places decide to cancel them.
Yeah,
I guess.
I mean, until we or Checkpoint will keep going until we or Penny Arcade or the audience get sick of it.
Yeah,
so.
and it's possible that if we get busy with other stuff. I mean, we have sort of an internal priority list, I guess, of which stuff we consider to be the most vital. And so if other really exciting stuff happens like Strip Search, it may be that some of these other series have to take a back seat. But at the moment, for the foreseeable future, they will continue.
Sean asks, if you could create your own reality show separate from Strip Search, what would it be?
I would like, honestly, and this is not me being ridiculous, I think it would be actually very fun to have a reality show about Erica Moen, because she is a joy and a delight and brings happiness to everything she touches. It would be the happiest reality show ever.
Well, she was talking about how
I think you don't know how reality shows work.
Yeah.
I think you want the worst person.
How she thinks it'd be cool to do a show of all the artists at Periscope Studio in Portland, which would be cool. I'd like to do I'd like to do the Wizards of the Coast Great Designer Search as a reality show. I think that'd be really cool.
That'd be interesting.
Because they've done that a couple times, but it's only been sort of like in text form. I think it'd be neat. Have you decided on any significant?
How about we take 12 sexy singles and put them in a house, and then don't tell them to do anything. There's no challenges, no, and they're just confused. They're like, "Are we supposed to do something? What's happening? What? Hello."
Did you see the Onion reality show parody?
Yeah.
Sex House?
Yeah, that got very weird.
It got dark. Have you decided on any significant changes to Desert Bus for the coming year? Nope.
No, things are actually coming along.
There's a lot of internal changes that we're trying to set up to make things easier for us.
Hopefully nothing that you the audience will see.
Yeah, we're mixing up people's portfolios.
But the main thing is the changes that we implemented last year about the different doing the driver shifts the way we did and doing the requests and stuff the way we did seemed to work really well. So I think we're going to keep with that.
How difficult was it to get everyone for Feed Dump 100?
Really easy.
Send us a text.
To be completely honest, I sent out a text to everybody who had been in a feed dump, and we only had 2 people who well, not everybody who had been in a feed dump, because obviously Brad has been in a feed dump and Lily has been in a bunch of feed dumps, but Lily has a day job in Vancouver.
And Matt lives in Vancouver.
And Matt lives in Vancouver. I did invite him just in case, because I think he's on a break from school right now, but he was not able to come, and our friend Missy, who's at one feed dump, was not able to make it because she had other stuff, but she's very busy. But basically I was like, everybody, you've been in a feed dump, we want to do Feed Dump All-Stars, can you please come in? And everybody was like, okay, and that was it.
Somebody I think in the forums or on the Escapists mentioned that what we should have done is when Matt was here for filming Friday nights.
Oh yeah.
We should have just had him like run in and be like, "Am I late?" Oh,
Good idea.
for the stinger.
That'd be good. Okay, 2 real quick ones. Evan asks, "What's your favorite Homestar Runner character?" I like Homsar.
I like Strong Sad.
I like 20XD6 Strong Bad.
Nice.
Challenging people.
JC asks, thank you for being responsible for her addiction to Archer. What is your favorite character on Archer?
They're all so bad, but also lovable.
Ray.
Yeah, Ray is like the only person who's like mostly good.
Who's like likable.
Yeah, like every time Ray is imperiled, because I know this show is like serious business, like people actually stay hurt. I'm like, no, Ray! Like I was like freaking out with an episode where, spoiler, Krieger gives him robot legs. If you haven't seen any of season 4, but I was like, oh, no, please don't let Ray die, because it could conceivably happen. And I was like, no. But I think my favorite character overall is actually Cheryl, because she's insane and I love her.
Yeah. Frederick says, I really like you on Strip Search, Graham, but it seems that your persona was much more serious at the beginning of the show. Was that intentional? Well, okay, I'll say that the seriousness was intentional and also partially just getting into it, just nerves. And then what wasn't intentional was becoming as loose as I did as it went on, but that was because the show was changing from sort of what we thought it would be to what it became.
And also just as we got...
And I just loosened up myself.
And as we got sort of more friendly with the contestants, it's hard not to sort of, joke around with them somewhat. And it ends up we didn't really have that, I guess, in our actual reality show. There's a little bit more like
division of
detachment, but we were like really sort of integrated in with the contestants for most of it. So, there's a lot of this stuff that made it more relaxed. I think was just us getting to know all the contestants and.
Yeah, I mean, like the first couple days we were filming,
together.
we were like so terrified of fucking something up because we literally had like no do-over time. We're just like, oh my god, we're so stressed out. But like by the time, what you're seeing now is a day 7.
Yeah.
Of our filming, and obviously we've been doing this for a week straight, and we were getting good at our jobs, right? And sort of like
and
loopy. Super loopy.
Jim asks, Are you planning on sending a delegation to England at any point? Does Graham still have family over here? I do. When Kathleen and I went there a couple of years ago, we had a big Loading Ready Run fan meetup in London that was actually a lot of fun.
I don't know if that was technically like sending a delegation. It was more you guys wanted to go.
I mean, we were on vacation, but we were like, well, while we're in England.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
again, like with the East Coast thing, if there's a big convention in England that wants to invite us to come,
that's considerably more expensive.
And is willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. Then that would be much more encouraging. So,
are you guys fans of Miracle of Sound on The Escapist?
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gavin's super great.
Very, very talented. If you are listening to this and you are not, please check out his stuff.
It's true.
So good.
All right. Pancakes, waffles, or crepes? Go.
French toast.
Just being ornery now.
I fucking prefer French toast to all of those things a million times over.
All right.
Waffles.
But French toast is not an option. So pancakes, waffles, or crepes. Also, I'm with Paul. Waffles.
Yeah, waffles.
All right. And last question from Chris. What about your work do you find incredibly frustrating?
GarageBand.
GarageBand crashing. Actually, see, this is interesting because he said, "What do you find incredibly frustrating? Is it the tight deadlines or coming up with new ideas? What makes producing video content hard?" What I find the most frustrating,
Somebody at our door.
What I find the most frustrating about our, about sort of the broad sort of content of everything we do is people who are misinformed. I don't mind seeing negative YouTube comments. But when someone is stating something that is factually inaccurate, that is provably wrong, that's like, no, if you look at this thing that we have said, it's very clear that is incorrect. That just willful ignorance really bothers me. And when it's something that, if it were true, would be bad for us. If it's like, oh, they said this or something.
It's like, why would we say that?
No, we never said that. Why would we say that? That would be a terrible thing for us to say.
If we had said that, then your comments would be entirely accurate.
Yeah.
If we had said that, we would be dumb.
And the reason that that's frustrating is because there's nothing you can do. You can't, if you say, no, we never said that, that person isn't going to listen. The comment is already there, so people who aren't going to go looking for the source are going to read the incorrect comment and believe it.
Yeah.
And anyone who sees, half the people who see you trying to change their mind just think that you're lying.
I know there's a whole mantra.
Well, and if you correct them, then you look defensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
there's a whole mantra online that's going around and it's picking up popularity. Don't read the comments. The thing is, when you're a content creator, we have to read comments. Because we have to know, obviously we're not in the business of oh, let's put up a poll. What kind of video do you want this week? We're not in the business of that. But we have to know what kind of content our audience likes and what they respond to well and what they don't like, right? Our business is making things that our fans like and that other people who are not familiar with us enjoy, right? So we can't work in a vacuum. There's no way. We have to understand. But there is a certain amount of mental fortitude that is required to read comments, and some days I just don't have it.
I was actually talking to Graham about this yesterday, that I feel like almost in today's world, there actually should be as part of maybe even high school or a school thing, part of the curriculum should be you have to produce a piece of content and put it onto the internet and have people comment on it. And just because I think a lot of people who produce a piece of content for the first time get really thrown off by the comments that come in, and that really negative comments or comments about something totally different, or or whatever, racist or nasty comments and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I think that would also, doing that would also teach the people who are making those comments that, hey, a human made this with feelings.
But it's but doing it, you start to understand that these hateful comments aren't even really directed at you, right? They're just basically people having fun with their friends, and you're just kind of the
vector.
You're just kind of the vector for how they're doing that, and so it makes it a lot easier not to take it personally and be like, oh, okay, that's just whatever, that's just a person talking, and I don't care about that. So I think that kind of the comments comments that are actually wrong or that are actually wrong, or comments that are serious comments that are something that are really important to me, or something that I was trying to, there's something, if we're doing a video, there's something you're trying to get across, and the person in the comment has taken it entirely the wrong way.
Yeah.
That's very frustrating.
Yeah.
That's
But I don't even mind if someone understands completely and just doesn't like it.
No, yeah, that's fine.
I don't mind that. Even if they're rude, or a dick about it, that's thick skin doesn't matter. But it's the willful spreading of misinformation that's just so annoying.
And just the minor thing, but the whole that people will watch whatever strip search, or they'll watch Unskippable, or watch Checkpoint or Feed Dump or one of our shows, and then be completely baffled that we do a whole bunch of other shows, despite the fact that we're like, how many different ways can we
disseminate
express
this information?
this information? But
Yeah.
I guess that's our failing in social media or
I
something.
guess. I don't know. All right.
Anyway,
That was the podcast for this week. There's our frustrations.
yeah, there you
Thank
go.
you for your
Obviously, you
questions.
can see we're frustrated.
Yeah. But not about any of the production. We love making it.
Yeah,
So there you go.
and not by negative comments. So
No.
don't feel bad about any
No,
negative
no.
comments you want to make.
Yeah. So thank you all for watching, and we look forward to talking to you next time and answering your questions again. So
Bye, guys.
bye, everybody.